Good morning. Whoa, that's loud. All right. I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, November 17th, 2020 public hearing for the City of Tampa's Barrio Latino Commission. Welcome, everyone. I'm Lee Ving Nguyen, Vice Chair of the Commission. If you're here to present a project, you will have limited time to make your presentation, so we suggest being thorough but concise. When coming to the microphone, you will need to identify yourself and your relationship to the project. The commissioners will not ask any questions during your presentation. Your project will be presented in the following order: site plan, elevations, architectural details, wall sections. Staff then presents the staff report. We will then ask for any public comments. Following your presentation, the commissioners will be asking questions in the same order as the presentation. Please state and spell your name clearly. If you're here to speak for or against a project, your time will be limited to 3 minutes, so take some time now to summarize your comments because 3 minutes goes by very quickly. Following public comment, the applicant will have 5 minutes for rebuttal. The public hearing will then be closed. The only comments which will be allowed after the public hearing is closed will be in response to any questions from the commissioners. The commissioners will then discuss the case and will make their decision based on the city ordinance, Chapter 27 of the City Zoning Code, the design guidelines, the Secretary of Interior standards, design review comments, and the testimony given at the public hearing. The BOC can only act on items that are within our specific jurisdictional responsibility. Owner agents are independently responsible to obtain any appropriate permits and/or approvals. If you haven't already done so, please silence cell phones. I would then ask the commissioners to introduce themselves, starting on my left.
Good morning, I'm Alex Andriakos.
Good morning, I'm Liz Welch.
We have Dennis Fernandez, Ron Vila, Beverly Juzak, and with legal, we have Kamaria Pettis Mako. So then, I believe we need a motion to approve minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
What is it? Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, minutes approved.
Good morning, Commissioners. Dennis Fernandez, Architecture Review and Historic Preservation Manager. Just here with a couple housekeeping issues. Number one, I do have the BLC staff reviews for October, which we will enter into the record and provide that to the clerk. Secondly, we do have an issue with the order of our agenda. In order to accommodate our cases today, I'm requesting that the first case, BLC T20-04, be moved to the end of the agenda to allow for time for another commissioner to arrive and enable the case to move forward.
Do we have a motion?
Can someone, Kamaria Pettis Mako from the legal department, can someone make a motion to move item BLC T2004 to the end of the agenda?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to move BLC T20-04 to the end of this morning's agenda.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, with that, we're ready to move on to the conflicts of interest and ex parte communication.
Good morning, Kamaria Pettis Mako from the City Attorney's Office. Will the commissioners please state on the record whether or not they have any conflicts of interest? Well, actually, I'll take this one first. Will the commissioners state on the record whether or not they've had any ex parte communication regarding any of the items that are listed on the agenda?
None.
Nope.
No.
Thank you. Additionally, will the commissioners please state whether or not they have any conflicts of interest regarding any of the items that are listed on the agenda?
Yes, I have a conflict of interest with BLC T20-04, so I'll have to recuse myself from that.
Thank you. And Commissioner, please make sure to provide Madam Clerk with the relevant form to document your conflict.
Okay.
Thank you.
Seeing no other disclosures and having no continuations, we'll move on to the swearing. Anyone who's going to be testifying this morning, including applicants and the public, please stand and raise your right hand. Thank you. And we're ready to move on to the first case, which is BLC 20-169, and Ron will provide the photo essay.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Ron Vila. I'm staff with Historic Preservation. For the first case, the address is 2602 East 10th Avenue. This is a non-contributing structure that dates to construction of 1946. This is a post-war masonry vernacular building. Some of the past actions that, if you look on our vicinity map, which is here, prior to 2005, the Historic District used to end on 22nd Street, was our eastern boundary. Our boundary was expanded to the east, now it goes to 26th and 27th on that eastern edge. So at that time, this building was included in the local landmark of Ybor City. Looking at the Sanborn map from 1929, you see that some of the sprawl from the very urban area of Ybor City did not come out that far. So you see 24th here, then it goes to 25th and 26th. Subject site, obviously in 1929, there was no structure there because this was constructed in 1946. But you see a lot of the open land that was in that area. As indicated on the aerial, this is the property in question. You see there has been some infill, but there is some opportunity for new development in that area. Moving to the structure itself, as I stated, this was constructed in 1946. It's a non-contributing structure in the masonry form. This is the front elevation as it faces 10th Avenue. This is looking at the front elevation and the side elevation, which is the east. Little closer shot of that east elevation. Coming in here. And the west elevation as it faces 26th. You have this facade. And moving to the rear. Behind the rear, there's the opportunity to do the expansion without any variances. So this is a portion of the site that's going to receive the addition. Directly across the street to the south, you have some additional non-contributing structures. This construction took place prior to 2005. Then to the west, you have some period structures. This is 26th Street, so this is to the west of 26th. And just to conclude, a couple of street shots. This is looking down 10th Avenue. This is looking towards the east and back towards Ybor City. This is looking to the west. At this time, I'll have the owner and the agent address the board. Thank you.
Good morning, staff. I'm Robert Ossie with Ossie Construction, who's been hired to build the addition for the homeowner.
Tanya Robinson, but it's listed under Faison, which is my maiden name.
So I just wanted to point out what we're trying to do is this master bedroom addition here in the back of the home. We also propose to build a decorative wall around the property with a gate for the new driveway going in. In the front here will be a lower wall with metal railings. This, of course, is detail showing the masonry addition and roof structure conforming to the existing home, utilizing the same shingles and a sand finish type stucco. We also have new French door going in the front and a new door in the rear of the structure. And we'll show what those doors look like in a minute. Just more plans showing electrical and framing. This is the metal fencing that will be proposed for the front facing 10th Avenue. It also shows the color utilizing the Ybor City palette of approved colors. This is showing an outline of where the addition's going, with this being the new condensing unit. Example of the perforated vinyl soffit. Proposed door with the insulated glass and the mini blinds in between the two panes of glass. Example of the new lighting. Example of the a door. And it's showing where the lower fence will be with the metal rail. In so many feet, we have the pilaster columns with the cap. And this final picture showing where these windows will be changed out to the new windows, and they'll be longer. They'll come like they did originally, and all the window shaker units will be removed. Windows such as these will go in. And it's just showing the existing shingles will be used on the new addition. And then that's a close-up of the stucco finish. More like a knockdown type stucco. And that concludes the presentation.
Good morning, Commissioner. Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff's evaluation of this application, that the staff's finding is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. I think it would benefit this presentation for him to go through the elevations and the wall section one more time for clarity, so the board could understand exactly what is being proposed. We talked about the west elevation to maybe incorporate a window on that street elevation to be consistent with the pattern that's already established on the west. And to provide a little more detail on the perimeter wall. They have examples of the 5-foot-high wall with the engaged pilasters around the side and the rear, but to be a little more specific on the front elevation and how they have a lower wall there that is encompassed with a metal type fencing above that to terminate at 4 foot in height to meet the City of Tampa Code and the Ybor City Design Guidelines. I'll be here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now open the floor for any public comments, if anyone wishes to give an opinion on the project. Seeing none, we will have the commissioners to ask questions, starting on my left.
I have no questions, thank you.
Is the intent to remove the banding or the existing fenestration around the windows that's shown there? And re-stucco the entire structure? Is that what you're communicating?
Yes, that is our intent, to stucco right up to the newly installed windows.
Okay, okay. That's all the questions I have right now.
I just had a question about the gate, the fencing that you're proposing to put around. So you showed the metal or the fencing that you're proposing to use, right? Are you planning on using that fencing all the way around the property?
No,
Can you kind of walk me through that? Can you put up a picture of, show me the site plan, I think is what I want to see, and then kind of walk me through what your fencing is going to look like around that property?
Yep.
Okay, so we've got these pillars. Is that around the back of the property and the side of the property?
Yes,
Okay, so and then what's between them? Is it solid brick?
solid.
Sorry, but I can't read the writing. That's
Solid
pretty tiny.
block.
Okay, so okay, we can back that up. Okay, so that will handle the side around, that'll handle the side around, where am I at? 26th? And the back, is there a back alley?
No, there's no alley, there's just a vacant.
Kamaria Pettis-Malcolm from the City Attorney's Office. Ma'am, if you're going to speak, you have to get onto a microphone
I'm sorry.
in order for your voice to be recorded.
I'm sorry. No, it's not an alley back there. There's some other land back there. So it's not an alley.
Got it, okay. Can we reduce this picture? Somebody enlarge the picture. All I'm seeing is, yeah, can we reduce that a minute, please? Thank you. Okay, where's the picture with the cement slab that you're gonna put on there and the gate? You showed us a picture of the site plan with that new proposed. Got it. Okay. So okay, so you're going around that back land, up against block 12. And then 10th Avenue is the lower black fencing, the fencing that you showed us?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's gonna go along. What's the gate? Tell me, is that an electronic gate? Is that a manual gate?
It's a
Tell me
manual.
what that is.
It's a manual gate.
Okay. All right, and it will be in the same material as the fencing that goes across, so it'll be consistent all the way across? If you showed pictures of it, I'm sorry I missed that.
Well, what'll happen is, it'll be 2-course block at the bottom, and then the fence will sit up, and then it'll have columns every so many feet apart.
In the front?
In the front, yes,
On
ma'am.
10th Avenue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, excellent. It's noted on here as a chain link fence.
Well, that's what's there now.
Gotcha, thank you. Okay, I just needed to understand what the fencing was gonna be. When I
Okay.
drove around the property, I needed to understand where it was going. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Do you have the elevations? Could we pull those up? Take a look. And so in the new addition, the stucco would just be matching the existing, is that correct?
No.
No.
It'll be a new stucco for the addition, and we're going to re-stucco the entire existing home to match.
Okay, and then you had shown an example of the color palette before from a different project. Could you tell us what the color palette for, when when the project is done, what the stucco color palette or what the color palette of the house would be?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I think that's like a beige and a bluish gray is what it is.
So you're doing something similar, the beige on top and then the blue?
Yes,
And then
the top of my house shapes like this, like a triangle at the top. It shapes like that at the top.
Okay, great, thank you. Let's see. I think that's all my questions as well. And then, hearing our questions, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal. Is there anything that you would like to say before we close the public hearing? I think you answered our questions as we went along, so.
We just respectfully ask that you grant the addition, and we'll do a good job to make sure it is an asset to the neighborhood.
All right, thank you. So now we'll close the public hearing, and then the commissioners can discuss the case. Starting at my left.
No, thank you.
No.
So then with that, then we need a motion.
I'll make a motion. A move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC.
This is BLC 20-169.
In BLC 20-169 for the property located at 2602 East 10th Avenue with no conditions. Because based on the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with Ybor City design guidelines of the City of Tampa for the following reasons. It meets code and the design guidelines and the Secretary of the Interior standard, considering that this is a non-contributing structure.
A motion? Do we have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Commissioners, Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Moving to the next agenda item is BLC 20-174. This is for the address of 1208 East Columbus Drive. Currently, it's a vacant site. The zoning is a YC2. The request in front of you this morning is for a single-family resident with an accessory structure that is detached with some site improvements. Starting with the 1929 Sanborn map, referring to Michigan Avenue, which is Columbus Drive. You see the fabric here that is more dense than the prior application. This house was removed some time ago, and it's been a vacant parcel. A while back, when prior owner bought this property here, they encompassed the land that they bought with a retaining wall that you'll see now. So the retaining wall will be indicated on the photos is not original to the site. They had a primary structure and then a detached accessory structure, and there was an alley back in 1929. Currently, there is no alley that runs behind the property. This is looking from above. Does face Columbus Drive. It's in between 12th Street and 13th Street. As I stated, there is no alley. The alley has been vacated. There are some trees to the west of the property line. Natural Resources has been engaged in this process, and they have no concerns at this time. At the time of permitting, they will have to do some pruning of the limbs and some air spading. But it can move forward with the site plan that is provided this morning. This is looking at the site from Columbus Drive. I wanted just to call out the retaining wall was not a historic treatment here. It was probably put on about 10 years ago. This is looking at the site. This is looking at the abutting property. Moving to the site, it shows that there was an accessory structure towards the rear and to the west, and this is the location of the proposed accessory structure. To give you some contents of the surrounding properties, this is directly across Columbus Drive to the south. This is looking down Columbus Drive to the east. You see some larger structures here that are engaged into the one-story structures. So there's a variety of two-story and one-story structures on Columbus Drive. And looking at a street shot, looking to the west, once again, you see some of the vernacular, the older homes. Columbus Drive is a wider street, so it does have the ability to do parallel parking on Columbus while not impeding the traffic. At this time, I'll have the agent address the board. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Álvaro Rodriguez. I am the architect of the project. We propose a two-story house. This is the site plan of the property. This house will be a two-story house. We have a front setback of 10 feet. That is the standard setback for that area. We have a 4 feet setback location on the east side of the property and 11 feet on the west side of the property. We propose an accessory structure on the back of the property that will be 10 feet of the back, and with a ribbon driveway that will go on the west side of the property to bring all the cars to the back side of the property. The accessory structure will be two-story with two-car garage on the first floor and living area on the second floor. The house will be 1,460 feet living area on the first floor, with a cover lanai of 236 square foot with a building pad of 1,680 square foot, the total living pad. For the accessory structure will be 484 square foot on the first floor with two-story. The house will have a mansard on the roof area that will be on the attic area. And the driveway, the sidewalk connection will be from the front of the property to the center side of the front porch. See the elevation. This is the elevation of the front of the house. We propose the house will be raised 24 inches above existing average grade, that is a standard for that area. with 4 risers on the front to go to the front porch. The bottom below the finished floor elevation will be stucco. The whole house will be concrete block wall. The bottom will be stucco, and we will have brick veneers false veneers to show the columns for the standard, for the craftsman style on that area. We will use siding for the house, cement board siding for the whole house. The columns will be concrete, but will be wrapped with cement board, and the trims on the columns will be wood. The siding for this part will be also cement board, and this will be cement board siding and cement board wrap around the columns on the top. We will have metal roof, and we will have brackets on the gable. The brackets for the gable will be 2x8, and the standard bracket for the roof will be 2x6. We have concrete columns for the welcome area, and we will have this railing that we have. The railing example here will be 28 inches for the first floor and 36 inches for the second floor. The trims for the windows, we have an example for the trims of the windows on the front area. And the entry doors and the door on the second floor will be fiberglass. This will be the ginger bell for the top, and will be wood material also. This retaining wall that is located in front of the property, we will redo this because the entry of the retaining wall is on this area. We will fix the wall to have the 2 entries on the center. We will have lanterns on the front entry columns. We will have the finish for the porch will be concrete on the floor. We will have the trims for the doors, and we will have B-board for the ceiling on the top. The ceiling for the first floor concrete, for the first floor porch and for the second floor porch will be B-board also. The ribbon driveway will be concrete, and the garage door for the second floor will be a door that basically looks like 2 doors, not to a single door. We have a good amount of windows on all the sides of the property, according with the style for the Ybor City, for the craftsman style that require a good amount of windows in the east, west, and south side of the property, also on the back. We have all the equipment for this house will be hidden on the back of the property. Air conditioning units will be on the back, and the air conditioning units for the accessory structure will be also on the back. For construction, the house will be concrete from the first floor to the eave height of the roof. We will have a concrete footing, concrete block wall, and wood trusses on the top with the metal roof on that area. The first area between the footing and the finished floor elevation will be sand finished stucco on this little area with the brick veneers emulate the false columns. After this, we have the skirt board and the connection between the finished floor elevation and the bottom of the stucco, and then we have the siding. We have the finish for the windows that will be wood trim that we have that exposed on that area. And we will have the same on the second floor with the wood trim. Then we have the shakes on the gable, and then the rafter that will be 2x6 on this area and 2x8 on the gable's end. Lanterns will be used for illumination. We're gonna use lanterns on the front columns and lamps on the front porch, and the same lamp will be on the back for the accessory structure. The lanterns are also exposed here. We have exposed for the railing, for the top of the railing, for the windows. The color that we're gonna use is according with the required for the Ybor City standard. That will be a light green. And I think that that's everything that I have to expose.
Commissioners, they have additional documentation they'd like to show at this time, so if the TV camera could follow Christine. Christine, if you grab the hand mic. And I think you need to put everything closer to the easel as you do your presentation. And
Yes, and if Lily, if you could bring me the map, that would be great. And now it's blocking my face. All right. So what I have here is a map of Ybor City, which is somewhere. Okay, I need that. So I took a great deal of time in planning this home because I wanted it to fit with the community and be historically relevant and accurate. So I took a lot of time driving around Ybor City. I have a map here showing the addresses of all the places that I have pictures of. Let's see, starting with up here, number 1 at East 5th Avenue, I took that as an example of massing and height, very similar to what we're doing. I took photographs of the proposed metal roof, the 5V crimp metal roof, and the color that we propose there at North 23rd. I don't know if the camera can get both, but number 3 here, again, that home inspired me with the double gallery front porch and the metal roof and the roof line. Down at number 5, another home that is on East 2nd Avenue that is similar in height, maybe even taller, but close in height to what we're proposing, and the same mass. Here at number 6, the railing, very similar to what we're proposing, almost exactly. Photographs here at East 17th Avenue that show the blue ceiling that I have proposed on the color palette as well. Another home on North Nebraska that has the mass and size and height of what we're proposing. And then our neighbors, I can get out of the way here. Lil, I might need you to hold this for me, honey. Thank you. On our block here on the north side of Columbus, two doors to the west of us, a 2-story home that sits 10 feet from the finished floor level of the porch to the edge of the retaining wall. Then you walk down past our house, our proposed house, to a home that's just 2 doors east of us. They have the curved welcome wall, and they sit as well 8 feet from their retaining wall. So our proposal at 10 feet feels right in rhythm with the street and the curved welcome wall, and keeping our retaining wall as it is, just adjusting the entrance. I've also taken a picture here, I don't know if you can get that, standing at the edge of our proposed steps, looking down the block so that you can visually see the line and the rhythm of where we would sit. I thought that was important. A little bit further down our block is another very large 2-story home here that sits about 34 feet in height, has a 3rd floor dormer and another double gallery front porch. The color palette that I chose I wanted to keep it very, very subtle and in keeping with the palette of Ybor City, but bring a little bit of nature in. So everything that we're using in hardware is matte black. The brick is on the floor over there, if somebody could grab it. We are keeping the same brick as the existing retaining wall, and it does have different colors of brick in it, so when we take it apart, we'll be able to put it back and have it not look funny, and that brick is also going to match on the false piers of our house. All the trim it's Benjamin Moore paint, Urban Nature in the green. The trim is White Dove. The doors that are fiberglass, garage door, exterior doors will all be this walnut wood finish. And then the porch ceiling, they're in keeping with some of the other neighbors doing the haint blue ceiling. And I think I have samples of the railing that I'm proposing on both the upper and lower porch. So, thank you, Vanna White. This is the top porch railing on both floors. It's actually two pieces, but we've put it together here. So, and then the bottom rail and the spindles are there. I wanted to do something that was a little bit of a nod to the Victorian in Ybor City, so I chose to do that in the turned spindles on the front porch. The window trim here, we have chosen, this is just for the front. I wanted to add just a bit of drama, a little bit of something more substantial on the front of the home. So we've chosen to do this. I have some photographs there of other homes that in Ybor that I used as an inspiration for this. The exterior line will be 7 inches. The middle trim between the front windows is 8 inches. Historically, that outer trim is slightly smaller, so we did that. We've chosen a historic sill that, if I can do this right, it's a puzzle. We left it out so we can pop it in there. The historic sill that fits, that will be on all of the exterior windows, but the side and rear windows will be, the trim will be not quite as elaborate as what I have, and substantial as I have on the front of the house. And I think that is everything that I have for you guys. I think.
Good morning, Commissioners.
You are, oh, I have.
Okay. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Robert Andrew Burkhead. I go by Drew Burkhead. I have two parts to play in this. I'm property owner along with my wife, and also part owner of the construction company Alignment Construction. So we are not only the property owners, but we're also the construction company. So my only add, because a lot of ground was covered, was that we've had a fantastic team through this process. We've enjoyed working together. We've been able to bring design, construction, architectural, and I want to thank Ron for his support through the process as well. Basically, I've had the opportunity to build this house many, many times in my head, and I think we're bringing a fundamentally sound and period appropriate home to this marketplace, and we're looking to be a part of the community, and we're looking to grow in the community and be a part of the growth of Ybor City as it develops. And I'm here to answer any construction questions as they may arise.
Thank you. Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff with Historic Preservation. Staff finds that this application is consistent with the Ybor City Design Guidelines. On page 3, I had a list of conditions that were outstanding prior to today's public hearing. All of them had been addressed through the additional documentation that was provided this morning. I do want the architect to go through the accessory structure one time. He spent the majority of the presentation addressing the primary structure, but just to go around the elevations of the accessory structure and a wall section. I'll be here to answer any questions. Thank you.
Hold, please.
The accessory structure will have exactly the same style that we have for the front structure. will be the same cement board that we have on the front. We will have a two-car garage door, but as you see, the look of the garage door is like two single doors. It doesn't look like a full garage door. We have the same trim that we have on the front of the structure, and we have the same type of roof with the lower slope on the front and the slope on the top. We have the same gingerbread brackets. We will have the same brackets on the back of the structure with the 2x8 brackets on the front, and we will have 2x6 on the other brackets. The cedar shake siding will be also the same that we have on the front, will be on the back. The trim will be exactly the same that we have, and the windows will be exactly the same. The idea is that the accessory structure will be exactly the same style that we have the front structure. We have a good amount of windows on the front of the accessory structure, and this back will face, the back of the structure will face the alley, but the alley is closed. We propose to have a buffer between the...
Sorry, can we zoom out a little bit so we can see the other elevations? Move the drawing. All right, great, thank you.
This is the north elevation. This will be the elevation that will face the alley. Okay, we don't have any windows in the bottom because this is the garage, but the alley is completely closed. This elevation will not face from the front of the street. And on the east elevation, this will be the east elevation that basically we will have a covered porch on this area. We will have the stairs to go to the second floor. The second floor will be the living area, and the first floor will be the garage area. For the west side, we have windows on the second floor. This first floor will be the garage area, the metal roof, and everything will be siding. The idea is to keep exactly the same style that we have on the front elevation, and on the main structure will be the same on the back structure.
Great, thank you. And so now we'll open the floor to any public comment for anyone who would wish to speak about the project. Seeing no one coming forward, we will now have the commissioners ask questions, starting from my left.
Yes, I'd like to know what the dimensions of the lot are, and if those are standard dimensions for the lots on the rest of the block.
The lot is 50 by 116, and it is a standard dimension. Yes, sir.
Oh, I have no questions.
Nope, I'm good.
Can we see the site plan again, this time with the first time it was presented, we only kind of saw the main house, so I'd like to see it with the accessory structure as well. Okay, fantastic, thank you. And then does the accessory structure have a condensing unit as well?
AC unit?
Yes.
Yes, the AC unit will be located on the back of the property. This is the AC pad, will not be visible from the street.
Okay, great. Yeah, thank you for the thorough presentation. I have no further questions. So with that, you have 5 minutes for rebuttal for any of the questions we asked. Answered as we went along. So anything you would like to say?
No, thank you all very much. We appreciate your time.
Fantastic. With that, we'll close the public hearing and then we can discuss the case. My left again. Anything to discuss? Alex? All right. So then with that, we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion for the certificate of appropriateness final approval. Move to grant a certificate of appropriateness for the drawings and documents presented at this public hearing in BLC 20-174 for the property located at 1208 East Columbus Drive, because because based upon the finding of fact, the proposed project is consistent with the Ybor City design guidelines of the city of Tampa for the following reasons. They look like they agree with the Secretary of Interior standards and applicable codes and all the design guidelines.
A motion, do we have a second?
No, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Congratulations. Thank you for the fantastic presentation.
Commissioners, at this time, if we could take a couple-minute recess to prepare for the next case.
I don't know. You can't hear. That's what is that what?
Which is BLCT, which indicates this is for the ad valorem tax exemption 20-04. This is for the address of 1715 East Columbus Drive. This site has some history, and I'd like to go through it at this time with you to show that this was a true preservation successful story. In 2015, this house was relocated, excuse me, as indicated on this vicinity map, from here to its receiving site, which is here. So it was on 14th Avenue, and then it landed on Columbus Drive. This was part of the ultimate expansion for Interstate 4, that they displaced some homes that abutted the interstate. In working with FDOT and the city of Tampa, we've relocated 69 homes, and this was one of them. The stock of this house was evaluated, and it was a unique structure that we wanted to save. So that's why it made this move. As part of the relocation, once you pick up the house, it loses its designation as a contributing structure. So the owners at that time did not want to lose any historic fabric, so they were in line with preservation, and the house retained its status as a contributing structure. In 2018, it came forward to have some exterior renovations done, And then the current owners now that will address the board felt that it was important to renovate the interior as well to the Secretary of Interior standards. So through the photo presentation that he's going to give you today, you'll see of a house that was relocated, that was possibly slated to be demoed, that was moved and successfully renovated to the standards. And at this time, I'll introduce Andy as the presenter. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Andy Doman. I'm the CEO of Design Styles Architecture. Our office is currently located at 1708 East Columbus Drive, and the house that Ron had talked about just now is located across the street from our office. Can you guys see everything okay? Is this good? So we're located, like I said, we're here in Tampa. We're located, for those, just to get your bearings straight, we're right next door to the Eric Newman Cigar Factory with the big clock tower. So we bought an old grocery store that's right next door that was abandoned. It's now the first LEED certified historical building in the city of Tampa. That's our current office. And today we're here to talk about the house that got moved across the street. This is an existing floor plan of the existing on the left and then new to the right. When we got the house and it was moved to across the street, it was actually a fourplex. There was 2 units in the attic and one in the front, one in the back. And we literally took out every single thing that was post-1920 and tossed it. And we've been painstakingly restored the house to its original layout and structure. So the floor plan to the right is the new floor plan layout. And this gives you an idea of the house when it was relocated. The path which it got here was a feat in its own, which Ron didn't tell you the story, but I have no idea how the hell that thing got to this lot on streets, but where it did travel across the empty lots at about 1 foot per minute, and my entire office had the pleasure of watching it move in front of our office. So photos to the left are the existing structure as it was given to us. Photos to the right indicate what we did after. We were blessed by the original owner of the home. He was actually born in one of the bedrooms. And we were blessed on meeting him, and he brought photos of the original house, which is to the left. We were able to duplicate the windows in the front based on the photos on the bottom left-hand side, which are here. He's since passed away just before the house was completed, so it was unfortunate, but we've sent photos to him on the progress. His family has since come to see the house after it's been completed. So they're very, very excited about it. As you know, on the historical houses, we replaced siding piece by piece. So we didn't wholesale replace the siding. The brackets, if there was a bracket that was rotted, we had the bracket made to match. We had siding milled to match what was on the building. It was very, very painstakingly done, but everything on the house is period correct. And it's exact replications of what was there if it had to get replaced. The porch on the ceiling, we replaced the porch with new beadboard siding on the ceiling board, and ended up painting it. There's actually some blue paints, believe it or not, that help resist bugs from nesting in those areas. So took the opportunity to show people what you can do and what paint colors work. The front door, we literally had the front door, it was completely rotted and falling apart. We had a new front door made to match the original door. The side lights one of the side lights that was in the left of the door was taken and moved to the middle. Had new leaded glass made to expand it within the front door opening. And then we had 2 side lights made to match what was there because the other one was missing. Had a new front door made. The transom above is 100 years old, and we kept that in place. So anything that was original, we tried to keep every single thing that we could possibly do. Obviously, the bars are gone. On the side porch, we literally were able to recreate the side porch from some photos that we were able to gather. The brackets, Ron was kind enough to leave the rotted termite-eaten brackets in the front of the house, which we had someone take with them and then had milled new brackets to match the original, and then that whole side porch, door and all, was made from scratch in photographs. The windows were, we had the 100-year-old windows restored. Basically, we had them take the entire window frame out. We had some new frames milled to match what was there. We had the windows were taken out, paint was taken off, the glass was taken out, completely down to raw wood. Wood was fixed, filled, primed, glass put back in, and put back in the frames with new ropes and pulleys. So the 100-year-old windows actually work in the house. All the trim work that went around the house on the outside was milled to match what was there. Some places we had to replace all of the trim. Some places it was just a sill or a head. We tried like hell to get the doors, to find old doors to match the original. Found a bunch from the Bellevue Biltmore, but I couldn't find these doors all over Florida. So it turned out Geldwin happens to make a door panel that was the exact match of what we had. So we ended up getting new doors made to match the original doors. We were able, Schlage actually makes a glass doorknob. Ironically, that happens to match what we originally had. And we put all new glass doorknobs throughout the house. The fireplace was restored. Believe it or not, that's the original tile that goes around the fireplace in the precast trim. We had that fixed and repaired. The fireplace doesn't work, but we had everything fixed up, except for that point. So when we decided to, we were going to try and restore all the plaster, and turned out that we started getting into it. It was kind of an all-you-can-eat buffet on the wood. So the plaster was kind of what was holding everything together. So to make a long story short, we ended up having to take the plaster off, put all new drywall back on, level 5. We had all the millwork milled to match what was there, measured all the ceilings. So when the ceilings came down, we put the ceilings back up in their original locations and the original sizes. So again, everything was measured, taken down, milled, and put back up. The bookcases that you see in the columns, those are original. We actually, the guys thought I was nuts, but I had them carefully take the shelving apart. Those are actually adjustable, 100-year-old adjustable shelves that we made functioning, so we can show people how they did adjustable shelves in that bookcase 100 years ago without any metal. So it's all done in wood. So the bookshelves, the columns are original. It's pretty funny to watch people walk in the house now and see everything all brand new and done. Kitchen needed a little bit of TLC, and we went ahead and put in a whole new kitchen. Everything we did in there was period correct. One of the things we do is we call this building our design center. And the reason we do this is because we're trying to teach people. We've used a 100-year-old building, but we're using contrasting technology and materials that are new today that are still period correct. So we ended up doing like a white marble countertop and soapstone counters for the kitchen, but they're all quartz. They're bulletproof and stain resistant. We did 2-color cabinets. Although they're period correct, we did 2 colors because we wanted to show people you can mix and match colors to tell them that it's okay, it still looks okay. There's a lot of design things that we tried to build into the home to demonstrate new technology with the old, so people can understand they can work in harmony with each other. So all the lighting, it's got you can control everything with your phone and an iPad that's in the house. So it's got the latest, greatest technology in a 100-year-old home. The floors, again, termites kind of had a field day. We were kind of hoping to restore some of them, but by the time we got the layers of flooring off, it was too late. So we ended up putting new flooring down to match what was original. There was nothing original about the bathrooms, so you know. So we ended up redoing the bathrooms, actually made them period correct. So this is one that we call the ladies' room, and we actually did painted tile. That's actually a porcelain tile. Everything in there was made to look like it was something you'd see 100 years ago, but again, using new materials, new technologies. You know, the faucets are period correct, but they're touchless. You know, grouts now are stain-free grouts. So again, trying to show people what's out there. Again, the millwork, all the millwork got replaced, but it got replaced with new and milled to match what was there. Same thing with the casing, the baseboard throughout the house. This was fun. We took the pocket doors that were nailed shut and encased in the walls. We were able to get them exposed, and we have all the Honey-Durrell pocket doors. They fully operate now. So within the home, we actually cleaned off all the hardware and had all the paint taken off the hardware. So that hardware is actually a Honey-Durrell hardware as well. Some of the glass was broken. We literally had one piece, 2 pieces of glass replaced, within the door. And that makes the end of my presentation. But like I said, everything in the house was done period correct. We currently have our house and our office on historical tours every year. So we encourage the community to come through the buildings and see the buildings. And we have photographs of what it used to look like before. And then obviously they can see what it looks like now walking through it. So thank you very much for my presentation.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Vila, staff of the Historic Preservation. When evaluating the ad valorem, you look at Part 1 that was presented to you in 2019, and to make sure that the application is consistent with Part 1 as illustrated this morning with Part 2. Staff finds that this application is consistent with the Secretary of Interior standards and rehabilitation for historic structures. Staff feels that the project speaks for itself as presented. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. So now we will open the floor to any public comment, if anyone wishes to speak about the project. Seeing no one coming forward, we'll have the commissioners ask any questions.
Oh, well, thank you for a very thorough presentation on what appears to be a truly model project, literally, and it seems to be a wonderful resource, not only for your own company, but certainly for the community. So applauds on that. One quick question, and it seems almost minor, but I just noticed that when you showed the exterior of the windows, the before pictures happened to have what appeared to be the original wood screens. That's an issue that's come up in all of our historic districts, and I know staff always tries to indicate what a traditional wood screen was. Have you replaced the screens, or do you have plans on it, or just a curiosity?
And we kept the frames, but I didn't. And as Ron can attest, at some point in time, you just have to.
Call it a day.
Yeah, we spent probably $400,000 plus on a home that we purchased for 25 grand.
Yeah.
Although it was a great purchase, the remodeling cost was.
Yeah, no, it's not a criticism. It's just that it's an issue that comes up for us all the time. So it'd be lovely to be able to say, drive by this house and see the original wood screens. But
I still have them, but yeah,
okay,
so
well,
I had to stop at some
again,
point.
congratulations.
No, thank you.
I don't have any questions. You did a great job. Beautiful project.
Thank you very much.
Express similar sentiments, no further questions. So with that, I don't think there's anything for you to rebut, but if you need to have
No,
closing comments?
thank you very much. It's been a pleasurable experience, and I told Ron and Dennis that we offer our offices, our buildings to the city to use as often as they like as examples of what you can do to old buildings to restore them. So thank you.
Fantastic. And with that, we'll close the public hearing. And if there's anything, any commissioners want to finalize in any discussions? If not, let's make a motion.
I'll make the motion for the ad valorem tax application, and I'll move to approve the ad valorem tax exemption application, part 1.
It's
Two.
Part 2.
Part 2.
2. For the plans presented at this public hearing in case number BLC T20-04 for the property located at 1715 East Columbus Drive, the Ybor City Historic District, for the rehabilitation of this property, because based on the facts in the record, the proposed project is consistent with the Secretary of Interior standards for rehabilitation and guidelines for rehabilitating historic buildings.
A motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Fantastic. Congratulations.
Commissioners, just a moment. I wanted to just, first of all, thank Andy and his team at Design Styles. To give you a little context on this particular project, it is somewhat of a milestone project, not only for our department, but really for the entire preservation community that's contributed to the impact reaction to the interstate expansion in Ybor City. And truly the reason that this structure survived was because Ybor City is designated as a National Historic Landmark District. And that designation brings certain requirements and mitigation requirements by the federal and state authorities as they plan out transportation projects. This project was, as Ron mentioned, the last house to get moved under a 1995 memorandum of agreement between the federal, state, and local agencies that oversee preservation within the city of Tampa. And the committee, which is a cultural resource committee that's formed from those different agencies, chose this house specifically because of its grand nature and really unusual high-style craftsman architecture that's rare within the Ybor City Historic District, but was evident on this particular property. And it was, originally it was a project that a lot of people on the committee thought, well, the house is too big, we're not going to be able to move it from point A to point B, which is a concern. We went out there with tape measures, and we were within inches of structures as we navigated around the different various paths to get to the house from its original location to Columbus Drive. And then, as Andy mentioned, it was, the firm that finally did it had to, remove telephone poles, interchange boxes. They had to cut through, had deals with people on their private property to cut through the property. And they have a time-lapse video on their website that kind of shows it being done. So it was really interesting. And once it went on the site, we knew we had to find the right individuals to restore it. It was a house that had been neglected for a long time. It had been cut up into different units. There were 2 units in the attic that had an exterior staircase that went up to it. And we went through a process of advertising it, had an open house, had a number of individuals that were interested in it. There was a competitive bidding process. We were focused on the capacity of whoever purchased it, not so much the financial bid that we received. But at the end of the day, Design Styles really stood out among the rest of the applicants. And they have proven themselves in their existing building. If you ever get a chance to go on the architectural hop that the Museum Society does, they always open their doors, and now they've opened their doors to both of their buildings. So it's very rewarding to see that investment and that effort pay off to this degree. And I'm sure there's a lot of individuals on the Cultural Resource Committee that would love to see this structure once we're in better times when we could actually assemble in that type of environment. But it's that's just sort of the surface of what went into this portion of that memorandum of agreement. It is an effort that I've been involved. It preceded my employment with the city, began actually in 1995, and is still being executed today, not only with the relocations that have been done, but with documenting other structures that were unfortunately not moved. And we work also with this committee in the Tampa Heights Historic District and in the West Tampa National Register District. So it's it's a project that's been longstanding, but I think has been very successful. One very positive byproduct of that entire program were that the funds that were generated through the sale of properties like this became the basis for the composition of the Interstate Historic Preservation Trust Fund, which we offer low-interest grants, or low-interest loans and grants to homesteaded properties through. And I know that Andy and his team took advantage of that program on their existing Spoto building when they renovated that too. So it's, you know, there's a lot of layers to it like an onion, but this is a really great example, and so I appreciate Andy and his team, and I appreciate you seeing the value in this property and the excellent level of preservation that was implemented on it. Thank you.
Fantastic, thank you. Thank you, Dennis. We look forward to seeing this house being a great resource for Ybor. And with that, I will close the November 17th Barrio Latino Commission meeting.
Thank you so much.